Hi there, my name is Bernice. Welcome if this is your first time on this space. I love to talk all things related to branding and marketing. And over the last couple of years, I've actually had the privilege to work with dozens of businesses, helping them elevate their brand online. And recently, I have also shifted my business from working with all types of businesses to just focusing on short term rental businesses, Airbnbs, vacation homes, and hospitality brands. So if that is you, feel free to subscribe and follow along for future content to help elevate your brand online. So let's go ahead and get into today's video. I've got my notes over here, so I'm going to look at it because I want to make sure that we stay on track. I can tend to go off course, so I'm going to try my best to not do that in this video. So the content that I had scheduled for today did not work out how I planned. So we're going to shift a little bit and do something a little bit differently. So my original plan was to take you behind the scenes with me and go to a rental space and do a photo shoot day. And we were going to take pictures and photos of the property, and I was going to show you kind of me doing all of that. But of course, it didn't work out. Honestly, when I got out to the property, I kind of just forgot. And I ended up just taking pictures, and I got in the zone and just started doing my own thing. And it wasn't until I was about to leave that I was like, oh my goodness, I forgot that I was supposed to be videoing myself. And so I tried to redeem myself, but the video that I ended up recording after everything was said and done didn't really turn out how I wanted it to. And I didn't feel like I could post that with confidence and feel like it would bring any benefit to you. And so what I'm gonna do instead is actually kind of walk you through my process and how I plan for a content day, a photo shoot day for a rental that I am helping to promote on social media. And I'm going to walk you through how I prepared for that and what I did while I was there, and then also share my final thoughts of the day, what I would change, what I liked and what I didn't like. So we're going to talk about all of that at the end of the video. So before we go into actually talking about my process, I first want to make a quick disclaimer. So the videos and the photos that I'm going to be featuring on here, the client who I am doing this for, they wanted me to keep their business private, and so I can post these videos, but I can't really share any information beyond just kind of what you are seeing. So I just wanted to make that quick disclaimer before we got into the video. Okay, so let's start with, what I did before I headed out to the property. So of course, the week before, and this really was more days before, I was focusing on what particular audience did I want to focus on. So for me, I wanted to focus on singles and on couples because we have Valentine's that's coming up. And so I wanted to make sure I was able to do a special promotion that my client wanted to do. And so I wanted to make sure that I got pictures and videos for that. And then I also wanted to focus on solo trips and reset trips, those that maybe want to go out and to kind of recharge or set some goals, do like a goal setting trip, that kind of deal. So I wanted to really focus on that type of content for that particular audience. Once I did that, then I went and I looked at the different properties that my client had. I apologize, my dog is back here. I've got two of them, so they're kind of like moving around. So hopefully they don't distract you too much. But so once I knew what type of content I wanted to create, that helped me to decide what type of properties I needed to be looking at. And so I needed to make sure that they were 1, 2, maybe 3 bedrooms at the most. The client that I have has somewhere between 3 bedrooms and 8 bedrooms. So I need to make sure that I focus more on the lower end of the bedroom spectrum, where it was more of like the smaller spaces. So that way I could focus on being able to make it feel more for like an individual person or for like a couple. So once I looked at the properties that I wanted to go and shoot, then I went into my client's PMS system with my own login access, and I looked at the calendar and I looked to see if there were any bookings on there, and I went ahead and put it on my calendar, but I did not block it out just because I didn't want to hinder any last minute bookings. But the next morning I did check to make sure that I was still okay, and once I was, then I headed out to those listings. And then the last thing that I did before I headed out to the property is I gathered all of my gear. Now, I will say I did forget something, which I'll talk about that at the end of the video, but I did try to charge all of my equipment before I went out there. Okay, let's talk about when I got out there, what I did. So once I was finally out there, the first thing that I did is I toured the inside of the listing, the inside of the rental home. And I also looked at the outside just to see kind of the amenities, all of the different things that they had. I made some mental notes of what spaces or amenities that I wanted to capture. And then I also looked at the thing that was going to kind of really make the listing shine. So for this listing, it was going to be the fireplace. It was really like the vocal point of the entire listing. Now, as far as like the list of content that I wanted to create, I made my own mental note of what I wanted to do, and I have some notes on this at the end of the video because I want to talk a little bit more about that. But just to share with you what I wanted to create, I wanted to focus, of course, on a Valentine's special that my client wanted to promote. So I wanted to make sure that we highlighted the bedroom or a cozy area in the home, which is, of course, going to be the fireplace at this one. And then for the solo trips that I wanted to promote, I wanted to focus on maybe some amenities or like some special things that they had. So this listing or this property had books, they had a coffee station, they had blankets, they had foldable tables, and they also had a desk and of course the bedroom. So I wanted to feature all of those in some of the videos that I created and some of the pictures that I took. And then of course I wanted to just highlight any getaways for these particular audience. So for instance, you know, if somebody was coming in for like a conference, they could use the desk, like the desk would be a benefit to them. Or maybe if they were coming in to kind of reset and recharge, we could tell them that there was, you know, this really private bedroom and it had a really nice view of out back, and they didn't have to feel pressure to get out of bed to like enjoy the day. They could enjoy it from the bedroom. And then of course I wanted to highlight just the overall wintry season. And so I wanted to highlight the fireplace, of course, because in the winter, most people love to hang around their fireplace. So this would be a really nice cozy spot to feature for like the wintry season. And then of course they had blankets and they had coffee and other winter decor, as well as the fire pit that I also wanted to feature for the wintry season highlights. Now, when it comes springtime, I'm probably going to redo the photos because obviously when it's spring, there's leaves on the trees. So I want to make sure that the photos that we are using and the videos that we use are relevant to the season. So I know that I will be coming back. So I didn't want to get too technological with like all the different areas or all of outside. All right, so now let's talk about the photo shoot like itself. So once I had the mental note, I just went to every single angle of the home that I could. I took it from, you know, the ceiling, and then I took some from more like eye level, and then I took some from more of like a kid level, which I feel like you see the majority of on Airbnb or VRBO. And then of course I took some wider shots, some more narrow shots, some portraits, some landscape. So I did all of that. I took pictures and I took videos of them, and you know, I just tried different things. So I'm going to show you just a few examples of those here in just a second, but yeah, I just kind of made sure that I took a variety of shots in different angles and different ways. So you're going to see those. Okay, so let's talk about what's next. So the next thing that I'm gonna do, now that I have finished the photo shoot, doing the videos and all of that stuff, I'm going to export them and start categorizing them for the different contents that I wanna create. And I'm gonna go ahead and also mention this, that I took some on my phone just because I wanted to go ahead and plan out some content and schedule it out that day, because by the time this video goes out, we will already be, I think, almost a week after I had done this photo shoot, and I wanted to make sure that I had scheduled some Valentine's content for this client's social media. I'm glad that I got all kinds of videos because it's gonna help me really be creative and featuring different parts of the home. Whether I just wanna focus on the fireplace, I have different angles to just focus on the fireplace. If I wanna just focus on the bedroom, I have different angles and different shots to be able to just focus on that, or if there's like a specific amenity. Okay, so now that we're done, let's talk about my final thoughts. Final thoughts of the day, what I liked and what I didn't like, and what I want to change or do differently next time. So this was only the second property that I have been out to. And the first one was a little nerve-wracking because it was my first time going out and I didn't really know exactly what I was doing. And I'm gonna just be honest, I didn't really plan out my day very well. Whereas this one, I did a little bit more planning. And each time that I do this, I feel like I add something new and I learned something new. So this is really nice that I get to like still learn and be able to, make my next photo shoot even better than the last one. As far as like this photo shoot in general, I felt like I did a pretty good job planning. I know there was a lot of things that I still want to get better at, but overall, I felt like it went really well and it was a pretty good day. Now, despite it being really cold, because it was really cold that day and it made it really hard to like actually want to get out and do this, so I don't think I would change anything there. Okay, so now let's talk about what I would do differently. So after this experience, here are some things that I would do differently. So one of those things is I want to plan to block out half the day. So when I originally planned this out, I only planned for an hour to be there. I did not take into consideration travel time. Actually, it was I think an hour to an hour and a half. So when I got my travel time there, I did not take into consideration. So I felt like I was rushing as soon as I got there. Like I already felt like I was rushing, which is one of the reasons why I also did not get to record. And the other thing is bring extra things like just random little items like toothbrush or a thermal drink with like hot water or like maybe hot coffee, so that way I can pour it into a cup to make it look like I'm actually staying there. And then I actually might just go ahead and take it a step further and just plan a night there. That way I can actually capture the full experience of staying at one of the spaces. So that is something that I kind of am thinking about doing, and you might want to see that, especially me capturing like shots and videos, because that would probably get me a lot of content, a lot of videos and a lot of pictures. I feel like that would be a really good thing to do. So if you think that that would be good, let me know. And I think I still will do it, but I just would really like to know your feedback as well. The other thing that I want to plan for is to do more research and get an actual shot list. So earlier in the video, I mentioned that I just made a mental note of the shot list that I wanted to take and, made a mental note of like the amenities or like the things that I wanted to capture. So the next time that I do this is maybe do a little bit more research of what couples would want or what solo people would want if they were coming to like a space like this. What would they want to see? What do they want that would help, make their experience better? And so just doing a better research on that and then getting those shots would be really good. So next time I'll probably either have it on my phone or have like a physical copy of that so I can like mark it off and not miss anything. Because even though I had this shot list that I shared with you, I'm pretty sure that I didn't get all of the shots that I wanted. But I think that what I have, I can work with. So I'm pretty confident in that. And then the other thing that I would do is bring additional gear. I mentioned this earlier in the video. I ended up leaving my tripod and I didn't have anywhere to like place my phone or my DJI camera on. And so I was like placing it on like stacked books or like on shelves or like on top of the fireplace and like trying to get it there and like checking on it every now and then, making sure like it didn't fall. Because if you don't put your phone like the right way, it could like just fall over. So that was just kind of inconvenient. So I know next time that I will be bringing my tripod. And then the other thing I noticed is that with my DJI camera, it doesn't take as good like pictures And so neither does neither does my iPhone. I mean, it's definitely a lot better and it's come a long way. But I think I'm gonna bring my Nikon camera next time and actually take some more like professional pictures, because I truly like those a lot better. And the pictures that I kind of saw on the DJI, I wasn't really too satisfied with. So that's something that I'm going to remember for next time. And then the last thing that I just want to, this isn't really anything to bring, but this is just more of like to note and do, is like just prepare myself mentally for the photo shoot. The first property that I went to go do a photo shoot at, it felt a little odd. Once I got into it, I was a little bit more comfortable. With this one, it also felt a little weird, because when I walked in there, I felt like I was almost like trespassing somebody's property, even though I had access to it. I had the code and everything, and I even told my client like, hey, I'm gonna go and, take a photo, do a photo shoot day there. And they were totally okay with that, but it just still felt like I was, just trespassing and like going into somebody's home without their permission. So just kind of preparing myself mentally. And then also like getting excited, which is another part of preparing myself mentally, because the night before I went to sleep after midnight. And so the next morning I was kind of dragging a little bit. I was fine to drive, but it's just like, I was just tired. Like I just was kind of exhausted, mentally exhausted from doing work the night before. So that is probably the last thing that I would say as far as like getting mentally prepared, is like gaining the confidence, knowing that, that I'm meant to do this. Like for me, even though I do social media for other clients, this one is a little different, because with other clients, I am given the information and then I just kind of like split them up into mini information and then post them on their social media accounts. Whereas this one, I'm actually doing all of it. So I'm planning the content, I'm taking the content, and then I'm scheduling the content and also engaging with their audience. And so just kind of, like I said, getting myself that confidence that like, hey, I know what I'm doing. I know that I'm hired to do this, because we can all have that, that imposter syndrome. So that was kind of what I was feeling at the time. But that's what I would say for this last item, as far as like what I would do differently. Okay, well, that's really all I have for today. I have other listings that I will be doing photo shoots for and doing a content day for. So I'm hoping that the next one will be a little bit better and I can actually take you behind the scenes and show you what I'm doing, and maybe do some like side-by-side shots of like me taking the picture or me taking the video, and then you seeing what that looks like as a little, like on an iPhone or something. But yeah, that's all I have for today. And if you actually enjoyed this video, I would really appreciate it if you liked the video, just so that way I knew that this was helpful for you and that you enjoyed it and would like to see content similar to that. And then if you also want to get more marketing and branding tips for your short-term rental business or Airbnb or your vacation home or any other hospitality brand, then feel free to subscribe. Hit that alert button as well, so that way you can get notified when my videos come out. I post bi-weekly right now, but I'm hoping that once I get more comfortable, I can do this more weekly. So until the next video, guys, thank you for joining me, and I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.